Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow, Gordon Chang. Gordon, great to see you. Thanks for being here. You know, I always think of this picture, and I think we can actually put it up on our screen. The picture of the two Koreas, of the Korean Peninsula, where you see this, all of the lights. It's a nighttime picture. You see all the lights from South Korea, and then you see this big black space between South Korea and China. That big black space is a country. It's the country of North Korea. A lot of people wonder how can a country with no electricity still be such a threat? What's your answer?
Well, the Kim regime believes that keeping North Koreans poor actually keeps the Kim family in power because people who are scrounging for food don't have the means to resist their leaders. So this is, for a couple decades now, has been actually the policy of the ruling group.
Unbelievable. But, you know, Donald Trump believed that he could talk Kim out of the Dark Ages into the modern world. He actually went there, was at the DMZ. It was a very brave gesture, a lot of people thought. Has the Biden administration decided just to can that policy, just to forget about bringing North Korea into the real world?
I think the Biden administration, you know, it is diverted by other things, has just sort of put North Korea at the bottom. This is going back to the policy of the Obama administration of strategic patience. And in a sense, it's more realistic, David, because you can't get the Kim regime into the modern world. It realizes that if North Korea were to become part of the modern world, the North Koreans wouldn't put up with the Kim family. So this is unfortunately that we don't understand the mentality of a really vicious ruling group.
Well, China is using North Korea. It's clear. And North Korea is threatening to have another nuclear test, which they haven't had in a while. Other provocations coming from North Korea. That is pretty much China using North Korea as a puppet for their purposes, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, because Biden's trip to South Korea and Japan was really meant to talk about China, and as he has done already. And really, I think what the Chinese want to do is to change the conversation to North Korea. And the way the North Koreans can do that, of course, is to detonate a nuclear device or, of course, to launch an intercontinental ballistic missile, both of which it appears North Korea might do. So that has actually taken a lot of the focus off Beijing, and I'm sure that Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, is very happy about that.
Now, China itself is using provocation in the South China Sea, and they have a drill exercise going on right now, and yet we're trying to, these U.S. corporations like the NBA are going back into China, pretending that nothing has happened there over the past couple of years, when in fact it seems like a lot has happened. It seems like they have become an adversary like they haven't been since the old days of Mao Zedong. Am I right?
Well, right. I mean, People's Daily, the most authoritative publication in China, when People's Daily speak, that's China speaking. Well, People's Daily has declared a quote-unquote people's war on America. In other words, they've designated us an enemy. The drumbeat of hostile propaganda continues to today. And it's very clear that China, you know, and they make no bones about it. They want to subvert the American government. They want to take over the United States. And I know that sounds ludicrous to people, but you got to listen to what the Chinese are actually saying. And so, yes, they are the enemy. And unfortunately, we're not willing to call them that, or at least our president isn't willing to use that term. He's not even willing to use the term adversary.
Unbelievable. Gordon Chang, thank you very much, Gordon. Appreciate it.